Hey team, how's it going? I'm just gonna talk to you a little bit about how do you bring in starting the journey when you're doing a team building or a women's workshop with any of your 12-week curriculum programs. So what we do is we always go through the orientation first, very, very vital because we need to make sure that they understand why we work with a horse. Then, of course, we always do the whoa and safety in the arena because they must understand how a horse actually speaks to us and, of course, how he moves. So, this is why starting the journey is so powerful because then you bring in that component. I actually don't even have the flip chart up on that because right from orientation, safety, and whoa, we do a bit of starting the journey in the arena where they're grooming. They're building a relationship with their teacher. And that's where it begins. But they're not only building a relationship with their teacher, which is their horse, they're building a relationship within themselves. And then building a relationship with the actual other human being that is working with them. Sometimes it's awkward, sometimes it's comfortable, and it doesn't matter where it is because we can hit building a relationship no matter how we're rolling with it. So the grooming component is very important because before each program begins, we should always be having that moment where they get to groom and love on their horses and get to see where they're at because why? It tells us where our clients are at. It tells us where we are at. And that's huge before you even begin starting the journey. So with starting the journey, there's a few of the station cards that we can use. And we want them for the starting the journey to happen before push me pull you. Why? They need to know how to move their horse. If they don't know how to move their horse, then they're not going to be very successful at communicating and push me pull you. So the 5 programs that we use or the station cards that we use is first of all the whoa. So then we have them go up and keep practicing 3 or 4 times how to stop your horse because what happens a lot of times is people will keep moving as they're saying whoa, giving that mixed message so the horse comes and then that your client obviously panics. So you want to be right there with them. And again, you can think of it more of a teaching moment if you wish because it's not at a facilitating point yet because you want them to say, okay, now stop and say whoa. So when you're ready, stop and say whoa because you want them to think it and feel it and then say the words. So the whoa is huge because you need to have your horse whoa and push me pull you, right? So you can see how that's going to roll over that skill into your next program, which you're going to do in the afternoon. Then the other station card is have your horse step on the glove. Now, what the heck does that have to do with building a relationship? Well, it has to do with how is our horse reacting to it? How are we asking this teacher to step on the glove? Are we being aggressive when we're pushing? Are we fearful to even move? Is our energy facing the right way? Because it's very important. We always talk about the belly button, how the laser pointer has to obviously point to so that the horse knows where it is that they're going. So that's helping to build that relationship and getting to know how our horse moves with that pressure and release component. The other one is look into your future. That's walking over those rails. And those are the 3 round rails that you want, and you want to put them on, no, Passy. You want to put them on blocks so that when the horse hits one of the rails, it rolls off. That's what you want to happen. And you want them to go over all 3 rails first and then stop them to say, okay, well, that was interesting. How did that go for you? So what did we learn about our horse? Were you successful with getting him over the rails without knocking him down? Now, if they say, well, he did pretty good, but he wasn't sure about the other area. See, now you've got some facilitating to do because now you can ask them the questions because this is about now building a relationship within themselves. Because in order to move forward in life, we must look into life. That means if we look back at our horse, I always say to them, if we look back at the horse as we're trying to walk over the rails, it's like we're looking into the past. And the past can't do anything to help us at this point. What if we're daydreamers and we're looking up at the sky? You think our horse will hit a rail? And they'll say, yeah. Okay, what if we are on we're looking down. We don't know where we are going. Will the horse hit a rail? Yeah, exactly. So what we want them to start learning is, I'm sorry, pass. No doing that. He does not usually do this. I don't understand why. Maybe he's bored with me talking. That could be true. So what we're wanting them to get to is understanding where their eyes are is where you need to go so you can step into that future. You always want them to understand where their eyes are in life will help them to move forward in life, because this is where a lot of people are stuck. They're looking at the ground. There's nothing on the ground. You don't move forward in life on the ground. You don't move forward daydreaming, and you don't move forward keep looking at the past. So that's where you really want to help them with the walking over the rails component. The other thing I always say too is I always say, do you know that this horse can step over every single rail without knocking them down? They'll say, no, really? I'll say, oh yeah. And again, I'll ask them, do you think the horse can feel where your eyes are? Sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no. But because we've already explained to them that a horse can feel everything that we think and feel, then I'm going to say, you remember how a horse can hear and feel everything? Well, they can actually feel where our eyes are. So if we look into our future, it helps our horse know where we're going. Then they want to follow us as a leader, because of course we were wanting to get, again, building a relationship within is about being a leader to yourself. Does not mean you have to own a company. Doesn't mean that you have to be a manager. It just has to mean that you're a leader to yourself, that you have the ability to say no when you don't want to do it and yes when you do. The other one is the pylons, where you weave through. Now that one's really cool too, because when they're done weaving through the pylons, my first question to them is, so is pass a lefty or a righty? Why? Because that's as pure parallel to what a human being is. My thing that I do for any human being who steps into my classroom, I always notice the southpaw right away. So the left-handed person, why? I love left-handed people. I have no idea why. I'm not left-handed. I just love left-handed people. So you see, that helps us to build that relationship again with not only our horse, but with the other person. What did we notice? What did we observe when we were seeing how this horse moved through the pylons? And of course, the last one that we use is the have your horse back up 3 steps. Why? We need them to understand how to back up a horse for push me, pull you, because they need to know how pressure and release works for their teachers as they're going to go through this communication objective. So going backwards, it's the same idea. How would you move if you were using a vehicle? And we always say the pointer with our belly. So where does our belly button need to be for him? This too, I find, is very much so a teaching component, because I will show them, you see my belly needs to point right here at his chest and not go past, because lots of people go here past the horse to move the horse backwards. Well, that's not going to work. So, I mean, we can do it, but not our non-horse people. So we really want to show, so that's showing with teaching, our belly would be lined up with his chest, and of course, just a wee little bit of pressure, because we don't want people to have to haul on a horse to back them up, because we don't have to haul on a horse to back them up, so they shouldn't have to either. So we're showing them in the lightest, softest way. Why? Because those body language subtleties are the things that we use in human world. We have to be very aware of, again, building that relationship within ourselves, and how are we approaching people with our pressure? How are we releasing that pressure when we see that their body language has changed? So anyways, I hope this has helped understanding how you bring in that starting the journey component into a team building day or a women's workshop day, and then moving on to push me, pull you. Have a great one. Bye for now.